Hello everybody, my name is Poison Ducky and we're going to have another Total War Warhammer 2 replay. I'll be playing as the Tomb Kings again. Remember, I was saying I'm practicing at them in the tournament scene. I want to get them into it. And I'm going to have a little bit of a cheese today. Speaking of tournament, now my opponent's army would never be legal in almost any tournament. And you'll soon see why. But out of that way, let's get into my army. Now this... I speak of tournaments and everything. My last video wasn't even a tournament viable build because I had two Khemrian War Sphinxes. That's not allowed. You can only have one Khemrian War Sphinx, at least for the King's Cup tournament rules. So, yeah, my bad. I should have remembered that. I should have gotten like 2 Tomb Scorpions or something like that. But this, man. Otherwise, I do have a front line of 4 cheap skeleton warriors. Nothing too special about that. But I am bringing the Mighty Bone Giant along with High Queen Khalida to boost their missile damage. Of course, with the Blessing of Asaph. Really great. Plus 15 missile percent. Plus 15 reload, and plus 15 armor piercing damage, which is really good, especially combined with the Bone Giant, because with that he has 762 missile damage, which is nothing to laugh at. With the front line of skeleton spears, swordsmen, I'm going to have 3 skeleton archers, one of them being the Regiment of Renown, who has better range, and it has armor sundering. Just a really good unit overall. Of course, defended by the Regiment of Renown poison skeleton spearmen with 2 units of tomb guards with halberds. And the interesting pick here is I did bring 1 unit of Screaming Skull catapults. Now this unit is not really well received, I would say, as their damage overall just isn't good. They take a long time to get value out of. They do look cool though. That's what I think the reason I brought this. Instead of bringing this, I'd probably bring another skeleton chariot. But these just look cool. So I like to bring it. Especially when I'm not going super competitive with my builds. Now, 2 units of skeleton archer chariots, because I think Tomb King's chariots are just probably one of the more fun chariots in the game. I just like the mass number of them. Like 1 unit having 9 chariots is pretty ridiculous. And not only that, they're skeletons with arrows. Like, man, that's fun to do. Now, my opponent, on the other hand, here comes the cheese. And this is what I very, very much dislike. 2 Chaos Sorcerers with Lore of Fire. And what spells do they have? Fireball, Flaming Sword of Ruin, and this one just has Fireball. Wow. Now that's completely illegal in the tournament setting. That you can have 2 sorcerers or magic casters of the same lore, but they cannot share any spells, because it turns out spamming Fireball is a very, very effective way to take out the Tomb Kings. And with the Balance of Power is already in my opponent's favor, and I spent all my money, which is kind of confusing. And he's going to have a front line of Chaos Warriors, nothing too special. Some horsemen with throwing axes, pretty good choice because I have armored constructs, and some halberds in the back line, all supporting Mr. Kolek Sun Eater himself. A very powerful Chaos army that is going to be tough to crack. Not only that, they have some cheese that I'm going to have to deal with. Here comes the first Fireball. It's really annoying. It's kind of stupid. Let's get into it. Now my Lich Priest of Nekahara is going to buff my Bone Giant with Righteous Smiting and increase the missile damage. Now, he's pretty good. Look at that. I would say good 10% per missile. Unfortunately, 2 fireballs come by and hit my Lich Priest, and this guy is done for. Tomb King's heroes, it's very unfortunate, but have a 25% weakness to fire. Look, it's not great. I find that interesting because Tomb King's lords don't have regeneration. If they had regeneration, I think it would be completely okay for them to have it, but they don't. I just feel it's a very odd weakness that just kind of slapped on, maybe for lore reasons, but they live in the desert. Why are they weak to fire? But my Bone Giant is going to be snipping at these little Chaos Sorcerers, but if you noticed, I am actually using High Queen Khalida, and I'm using the Bone Giant to body block these fireballs. Now I just realized that fireballs do not go through this unit, so if you just stay behind it, High Queen Khalida will not be sniped, and that's how I'm going to combat this cheese, and I'm very, very proud of myself for this. I'm not gonna when I see this kind of cheese, this fireball spam, I just get upset. I really do. I get annoyed. I just think it's really not fun. It's not interactive. I suppose if you want to win, it's a very effective strategy against the Tomb Kings, but finding a way to beat it is just, it makes me happy inside. Because I don't really want to deal with this. Now, at this point, he is juking my arrows, and I realize this, and I stop firing. Don't want to waste any more ammunition. I do realize that he has Kolek all the way in the back. So I'm going to save some ammunition, and I'm going to use my skeleton archer chariots just to, as kind of like skirmishing cav, because even though it's nowhere near the firepower of skirmish cavalry, 9 bows, it's 18 bows in total. That's a lot of bows for a rather single target enemy. It's like, I was going to say low armored, but the Manticore really doesn't have low armor. But they have pretty good missile damage, like at 67 with, so 18 bows firing at him. He's going to lose a little bit of health, and he's going to have to run away. Now it's going to have this dance as he just moves his units forward. We don't really have to watch this, and I'm going to have Mr. Bone Giant himself firing at Kolek. Now Kolek is a huge target. It's quite hard to miss, and with his armored and prowess and large target, the Bone Giant will do a work. Look at that shot, just dealing a solid, I would say 5% of his health right off the bat. My archers are going to get into this Marauder Horseman fire. Make sure screen them out along with the Screaming Skull Catapult, that is. Make sure he doesn't get too much value out of these horsemen, because horsemen are powerful, especially in this matchup. I'm going to continue getting shots into Kolek Suneater. He is a plague in this matchup. He is so good at fighting my Bone Giant, really good at fighting High Queen Khalida, so I need to hurt him as much as I physically can. My Bone Giant is going to get a chevron out of how much damage he's done so far, which is fantastic, and I'm going to focus fire all these arrows into Kolek. Kolek, being such a large target, even though he has a lot of armor, takes a lot of damage from arrow fire. He's going to try to juke these shots, but Kolek is just a tad bit too large for juking. My Screaming Skull Catapults are going to be hitting these Chaos Warriors. The good thing about the Screaming Skull Catapult, even though, unfortunately, one of the fireballs took out one of the catapults, which is very terrible, but the Screaming Skull Catapult does have armor-piercing damage and anti-infantry, which is very nice. So I'm going to reduce the armor of these Chaos Warriors and focus fire them down with some archer fire. They do have silver shields, which is not very good. I should be focusing down the halberds, but this is going to make sure the front line fight with the Skeleton Warriors don't get lost too badly. And of course, I'm going to have some side charges with these Skeleton Archer Chariots. Make sure to disrupt the front line as much as I can and give the support that is needed for the Skeleton Warriors, because Skeleton Warriors are simply just not going to hold. We did so much damage to that one unit of Chaos Warriors that they're actually going to rout straight off the bat, which is very, very useful. Now, Kolek does get into a left unit of Skeleton Archers, which is not good for me, but I will be sending my Tomb Guard with Halberds up in very momentarily. And we're going to get a lot of archer fire into these units. I'm making sure I could focus down Kolek here, but I'm going to use the Regiment Renowned Skeleton Archers to fire into this Chaos Warriors to reduce their armor. They only have 70 armor when fired at by these units compared to the normal like 190, which is going to be very useful in this matchup. So at least my Skeleton Chariots can do a lot more damage, and my Skeleton Warriors don't buckle nearly as fast. I'm going to have kind of a pit fight here as I take out one of these Marauder Horsemen as he charges into my Skeleton Archers, and Kolek is just going to be massively destroying my back line. It's going to be quite dangerous, but he is low, and that is the main problem for my opponent. Khalida is going to be dueling against one of the Chaos Sorcerers, which is amazing for her. She is a duelist after all, and is very well known for killing enemy lords and heroes. So this Chaos Manticore is actually going to go down. Very good value trade on my part. Fortunately, Kolek is still just harassing the backline. I'm going to use my mass of the Skeleton Archer Chariots to hold him down while Khalida applies the mighty poison that is needed to destroy Kolek. Archer fire is going to come in from the right angles, hit Kolek, reduce his armor, deal a lot of damage. My Ushabti summon, of course, is going to go down and hit the Chaos Warriors. I had to make sure they go against the Chaos Warriors without halberds, as halberded Chaos Warriors are very good against Ushabti, and Halberd Chaos Warriors are just fantastic in this matchup overall. Now, Kolek is very low. He's getting cursed by the below half health Kalita, and he's getting stuck into, and he falls. And with that, the balance of power finally goes into my favor. I find it odd that the balance of power always seems to focus the enemy side at the start of a battle playing as Tomb Kings. I'm not exactly sure why. And this entire time, the Screaming Skull Catapult is just blasting Chaos Warriors. Now, they're not the best damage. They only have 41 kills, and they've done a decent amount of HP damage, but look at this. They do have a special attribute of their projectiles. Where is it? They cause a little bit extra fear. Take cover. -8 leadership for 10 seconds, which is pretty nice, especially against a group of Chaos Warriors that just had their lord recently killed. Ushabti in the back line doing rather well, and look at this. The Bone Giant himself making it into battle. He reused all of his ammunition, and as long as the Bone Giant is supported by infantry, he will do a number against even low-tier infantry himself, but Chaos Warriors with halberds, of course, going to do very well. But my own halberd unit's going to get into the thick of it, and my chariots are going to be used to scare the units off the battlefield, try to shatter them, make sure they don't come back. Of course, unfortunately, the skeleton archer chariots are very low and will crumble. Only 2 models left, but that's 2 models all you need to take out these halberds. He's going to try to save these units, and he will as they crumble away. Skeleton archers got a lot of value, though. 31 kills here, 25. Not the highest numbers, but remember, these are armored units, and the backline pressure used by the skeleton archer chariots was quite good, and not only that, they used all their ammunition. Now he's going to use his Manticore to try to goon out my Bone Giant, but High Queen Kalita has this on lock. You're not going to take out my Bone Giant without at least taking some heavy casualties. Now my Archer line is back online. I did lose 1 unit to Kolek, but with 2 units online and still enough volleys to spare, the Archer fire is going to be a big number, especially against the halberds, as halberds have no shields and will take 100% of that arrow fire. And the Marauders with throwing axes are out of ammo or running out fairly soon, so they will lose their value rather quickly. Of course, the the Screaming Skull Catapult actually did really well there. It routed these 2 units very quickly because of the -10 leadership bonus of getting fired upon by this artillery unit. And at this point, it is a mass rout by the Chaos Army, and that's going to be a win on my part. I'm so happy that I beat this stupid cheese. I hate fireball cheese. I hate like any sort of annoying like spam of a spell that you know is going to be super effective. That is why I bring in the Chaos matchup. A lot of the times I bring the Regiment of Renown Necrosphinx because it has fire resist, which is very good against the Chaos matchup, I would say. But let's see our unit efficiency. Alright, so looking over here, we have good Skeleton Warriors did their job, obviously. Tried and tested chaff. I'm surprised I got any kills, to be honest. And of course, the Tomb Guards being the only infantry with armor piercing, they did well. Skeleton Chariots, they may not look like they did a lot, 26 to 31, but they did a lot more than you expected. I like to bring them in almost any infantry-heavy matchup. They're just so fantastic, even with the heavily armored Chaos. Bone Giant, of course, you guys saw so much damage towards Kolek, so much damage towards the Chaos Fire Sorcerers. Couldn't have done without him. And the Screaming Skull Catapult did very well, too. 66 kills by the end of it, and a chevron, of course. If one of the catapults wasn't taken down really early on by the fireball, it could have done a lot more damage, and I was impressed with it. And the archers didn't do that much damage, but the amount of suppressing fire and HP damage they did was just fine. They only lost half of their numbers. Chaos is weird. Chaos, they're blessed by the Chaos gods, but in turn they just lose. They rout. Because apparently if they run away and rout, the Chaos Gods will forgive them. Now let's get into an army build. I'm going to start trying to add this into my videos because I think it's fun. And making builds is always fun. Against the Tomb Kings, let's go Warriors of Chaos. I do like Kolek. Obviously the most competitive build is using Sarthorel, but Kolek is a monster. Let's get the Star Crusher so that he just kills everybody. And in terms of lore, Lore of Fire is the correct choice here. Now, I wouldn't put him on a Manticore because getting that air superiority really isn't important to me when I'm playing as Chaos. So just a normal Chaos Steed. You really don't need anything else other. I would say Burning Head. Do I need Cascading Fire Cloak? Armor Piercing. Yeah, I'm going to take Cascading Fire Cloak. I don't really need Flaming Sword of Ruin because... yeah, okay, so I'm going to take these, save up a little bit of money, have a cheap fire caster. Now, what kind of front line would I want to go with? I think the Mirror Guard is a good unit in every single matchup as it's a fast Chaos Warrior at 38 speed. So there's really no reason not to take these. So good matchup with that. And of course you need some Halberds, Chaos Warriors with Halberds. I think 2 should be fine. And against the Tomb Kings are known, they have the Tomb Guard, which is very powerful. So get a front line of Chaos Warriors. So that's going to be 1 Mirror Guard, 2 Chaos Warriors in the front line with 2 Halberds to support. Now, how do we stop the Constructs? Of course, the best units of the Tomb King roster are going to be the Constructs, and I'm going to have to use some mass. Now, we could go with the double Dragon Ogre Shaggoth build, which is very potent against the Tomb King. So we can do that, and probably add a little bit of chaff and some, just in case to stop any of their projectiles, add that, and probably add an extra unit of chaff, if anything. Or actually, I'll add in a unit of Chaos Warhounds. So Chaos Warhounds with poison will very, very helpful in stopping the Constrip cover and slowing down their mobility, combined with the Dragon Ogre Shaggoths. Very good matchup against Chaos. So we have the range capabilities of Marauder Horseman. We have a decent front line and the anti-large power, along with the Lore of Fire to deal with the Tomb Kings. I think it's a pretty solid build. But if you want to not go with the double Shaggoth, because double Shaggoth is considered a lot cheesy by a lot of people, I would probably just go with normal Dragon Ogres. Normal Dragon Ogres along with Chaos Warhounds with poison will do the job. And if we just have a little bit, an odd amount of gold left over. So we could probably, with that amount of gold, it's very, very awkward, is it? So we can probably upgrade these to great weapons, so they have armor-piercing values, just in case they go with like some Necro Serpents. They'll do well against that in that matchup. But overall, pretty good build. If you don't, I believe this is tournament viable because you can't have 2 Dragon Ogres in a tournament setting. So this should work. Of course, a lot of people will be wondering, where are the Chaos Knight with Lances in this build? Chaos Knights with Lances are good against more infantry matchup, and the Tomb Kings are just not known for the infantry. So if you believe the enemy is going to go with more like, if you're saying Bretonia, and you call them out, you think they're going Foot Squires or something like that, Chaos Knight with Lances will destroy them. Greenskins, Chaos Knight with Lances, destroy them. Against Tomb Kings, it will not be appropriate. Of course, I like Chaos is probably my second played faction, so I do know a lot of the weird know-hows. And for the spicy Mimi build, let's go. Let's get these units out of here. You don't even need Chaos Warriors with Halberds. Let's go like this. This is a tournament viable. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Yes, Troll. Let's go for the Pound Town build. Let's see here. Chaos. Let's see. Let's go for Armored Trolls. Armored Trolls are so underused. Get some Chaos Warhounds with poison. Let's go for 2 units of Chaos Warhounds with poison, 4 Armored Trolls, and a front line of Chaos Marauders along with this. Now this is the Pound Town. I like Chaos because they're the only faction that have Armored Trolls, and Armored Trolls, no one like a regenerating armored unit is quite powerful because they don't take damage to archers. They don't take unless of course fired by the Regiment Renown, and they just, Chaos Trolls don't say anti-large, but the amount of armor-piercing damage they might as well be, and combined with the flaming cascading fire cloak makes them quite powerful. And this would be a really fun build. I actually might want to try this out in a future video. So here's the builds, guys. I hope you liked it. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe if you want more. I'll catch you guys later.